All right, welcome back. In this video, we'll be covering about the Annu project's IPO details, which is tentatively going public on the 2nd of September to the 2026, which is mentioned in the Chittorgarh website covering the IPO. That's bidding between 25th August and the 28th of August. Right off the bat, I'll tell you a few facts. It is a fresh capital IPO. It's basically raising about 175 crores from the public markets from both the BSE and the NSE stock exchange. And a couple of red flags already. Whenever I see a company that is going heavy OFS or completely towards a fresh capital, I would be sort of studying the company, trying to understand what the motivations behind going public are. In the case of Annu projects, I'm a little concerned here because upon further um, deliberation, I was able to understand that their motivations towards going public seems to be very concerning because there are no anchor investors in their going public bid. Because the presence of anchor investors is heavily important for for a company to understand what the interest levels are in the public in the markets already, and to see that no anchor investors are present for Anu projects right now seems to be a bit of a concern for me whilst I am sort of objectively understanding about their company. The good green flags are they have been in operations since 2003, and it's been about 23 years since they've begun working, and they've got a good team, good corporate team. Their management seems to be very experienced. They've been a part of this particular industry for a while. They seems to have a certain competence that is associated with like that's associated with that particular industry. That is just the beginning and the end of what I would like to mention with regards to their competency, with regards to their management. But the red flags continue to overwhelm me because um, it is not it does not give me enough of a reason why I would have to invest into this company. The reasons behind them wanting to go public has been articulated in their objects for issue part of the red herring prospectus, which every company sort of releases in their IPO. In their prospects of going IPO, which is the RHP, what I want to mention is that they want to get into the public markets primarily because they want to use that money to fund capex requirements for their company for further projects that they would be investing into, and they want to use it for working capital requirements that any company would have, and which is fine. I think they are sort of very transparent about what they want to use these funds for. But what concerns me as to the red flags of this particular business is the nature of the business. A couple of factors to mention here. They've mentioned their business is largely very restricted to a couple of states in India: Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Jharkhand, and Bihar. With these four states where the bulk of their business is sort of like restricted towards, what happens is uh, uh, what happens is they're also sort of exposed to the risks, the political risks that these states also have to offer for their businesses. So it's very important for them that they remain very aware of the projects that they are sort of involved into. Another thing that I would like to mention is that the bulk of their projects are actually involved in government. So about 90%, somewhere they've mentioned within their risk factors, about a significant fraction of their entire business is involved with government. And when you're dealing with government, it gives you a situation where you're not able to competitively bid for prices that you want to set. You are having to, like, you would end up bending to the word what the government tells you because they become very, you have to sort of become very, you have to comply with the reasons that the governments are giving you in order to get the projects, in order to get the get the contracts that they're giving out for the projects that they're trying to work on. And another red flag that I would mention that is that they are primarily working on three different verticals: the telecom industry, the sewage construction industry, and the gas pipeline industry. So I think with their restrictivity towards these three industries and their already existing risk factors with regards to all their businesses, with the seasonality of this business, um, and the demographic restriction where they're only operating on a few different states, that is, in my opinion, not as profitable. West Bengal, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, and Bihar might not be the most profitable of states in terms of, seeking contracts. So, an investor objectively might not be able to make money over here, no matter what the good intentions of their businesses might be. Another thing, another red flag that I would like to mention is that the cyclical nature of this, the seasonality of their business is such that more than, as they've mentioned in their RHP already, more than 50% of their revenue, it actually comes in the last quarter of the fiscal year. What do they mean by this? It's essentially that if, say, for example, 2025, let's take the example of 2025, the bulk of their revenue actually comes in the final quarter of the 2025 fiscal year, which is between Jan and March. Because of this kind of a situation, they would be heavily reliant on liquidity. They would be having liquidity problems for the first 3 quarters of the year. But then the last quarter, all their revenue is sort of like clearing off all the liquidity problems that they would have incurred in the first 3 quarters. So because of this reason, um, they would they might run into liquidity issues whilst the projects are taking place in these different states. And cyclical nature, they've also mentioned somewhere, yeah, due to rain, snowfall, and or any other seasonal factor, their projects might be halted. So because of these reasons, they might not be as productive as most businesses might be. That's one thing that you'd have to notice with regards to construction, telecom, and businesses where construction is the primary, the construction of a particular, like, you're trying to like build something new. Construction of telecom industry, as you mentioned, in gas sewage, gas pipeline and sewage industry. So basically, it's very imperative that good climatic conditions are prevailing for the business to be productive. These are the like solid red flags that I'm sort of like seeing in this business, which might deter away from me wanting to invest in the company in itself. But then they seem to be very transparent and well intending in their reasons to go public, as I've read from their entire red herring prospectus. I would like to mention that I won't be investing in this company right now, but I would certainly be keeping this in my research just to understand how this business and this particular how their business is expanding and how the lead manager is sort of like taking this business further. Mefcom Capital Markets, as they've mentioned over here, I'd like to really understand how this business, how the investment banking corporation behind this company, trying behind Annu projects going public, how they're trying to capture this further. So that is one of the points of interest that I will take from that will be one of the takeaways for me from researching about this company whilst they're going public. That's it for today. Until next time.